Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Fahd Dawood. I talk about Dubai real estate, specifically speaking, your life and my life, and our path to financial bliss. Now look, real estate is not some holy grail where if you invest, it's for sure going to go up, right? In my personal experience, 7 out of 10 people actually lose money, whether they're investing in Dubai, New York, Lahore, Mumbai, Toronto, Paris, so on and so forth. Now, this is a story, a personal story of mine where I saved, or so to speak, helped a personal client of mine save a ton of money and a ton of pain and a ton of time, right? Because of the actual due diligence that you, as an investor, or your advisor must undertake when you're investing in real estate, whether it's in Dubai or anywhere else in the world. Now, I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, the excellent, okay, as an investor, agent, buyer, seller over many, many years. This is a story from 2016. I'm going to kind of take you from the entire inception of the story to the conclusion and where that project stands today, right? Where Alhamdulillah, all praise be to God, and we're grateful, thankfully, that this particular investor of mine was saved from making a major mistake, okay? 2015, 2016, a very dear client of mine, somebody who's dear because I had friendly terms with him, and also because I had done a ton of business with this person. So with this particular person, he told me, look, my brother-in-law is actually investing in a particular tower. I'd like you to guide him. Now, I picked up the phone. I'm speaking to his brother-in-law, who's not based in Dubai, is internationally based, and I spoke to him at length. Now, just to give you an idea of this particular investor or his brother-in-law, he already had 2 properties in central locations of Dubai, and he had a professional property manager, so on and so forth. But you know, he said, hey, my friend, my relative said that he trusts your judgment. I'd like to hear what you particularly think about this specific project. Now, I'm not going to name the project just because it's a practice that I adhere to. I don't name and shame developers. I don't name and shame other people in the market. But I'll tell you that this was a project in Business Bay. Now, those of you who are not living in Dubai or not familiar with the Dubai real estate market, Business Bay kind of straddles downtown district, okay? Business Bay is the sister of downtown, except it's more commercial and has a little bit of a smattering of residential towers as well. So this was a residential tower. The specifications on the brochure were pretty high spec, etc., so on and so forth, but that's nothing new. A lot of developers state it like that, and they say, look, we're going to ask you, they essentially tell you that the development is going to be super luxury, it's going to be high, but that's all in the brochure. What you need to do is actually look at what's on the ground, right? The ground reality. So he asks me, I look at it, it's a prime location, right? Because it's right next to Burj Khalifa. And I go through my list, right? So I verify the project, the specifically project and the development, and I make sure that it meets all the regulatory requirements of Dubai. I look at and evaluate the particular developer and its strength and its track record. I look at due diligence is done on, do they deliver on time and at par in terms of quality, what they've generally promised in their other projects. I look at the actual apartment and the property that he was specifically buying. Now, obviously, if the developer doesn't meet a certain criteria, there is no need to look at the property, right? Because, hey, you just tell the investor, this developer is shoddy, dodgy, don't invest with him. But then if all those things are okay, then you look at the property as well. I did a market analysis of where I think the property is going to be in 1 to 5 years in terms of value or the rental income that's going to generate. And there's a few other points that I did look at that I'm not going to go into in this video, but you know, me and the investor had an extensive, lengthy exchange with my reports over email, and I explained exactly what this investor would be getting into if he went forward with this particular project. Now, this is a brief summary of my findings. Number one, the developer had thus far only developed in the affordable areas of Dubai. I'll name it, okay? So Dubai Silicon Oasis, that thus far developed a ton of projects, buildings in Dubai Silicon Oasis. Now, Dubai Silicon Oasis is a leasehold area, which is just extra bit of knowledge for you. In Dubai, generally the lease on your apartment runs till 99 years, as opposed to a lot of areas which are freehold. But that's just a side point. The other main point is that the developer was in line and had quality checks and was more in tune with delivering just affordable or a little bit above affordable housing, which would then translate that when you move into a prime area like Business Bay, sometimes the developer does not have the requisite knowledge or the experience to be able to deliver the same quality specifications. Also, the developer had been, in some of these projects that they had delivered, the developer had been extremely late. Furthermore, the developer had been considerably late in a lot of the projects that they had delivered. Now, any developer that started developing their buildings in Dubai pre-global financial crisis, so 2008, 2009, and they were late on those, they're kind of forgiven. But if they were still late on buildings that they launched or projects that they launched after that, when the escrow account, with all the things that the Dubai government did to make sure that the developers would be able to deliver on time, then that could be ascribed to management, misorganization, and mismanagement. So the developer wasn't coming out with flying colors. Yeah. One of the other things that I found, the word on the street, was that the latest developers that the developer, like the initial developments that the developer delivered, the projects they delivered, the rooms were a good size. But you know, the developers quickly catch on. If they can make the rooms smaller, essentially speaking, what they can do then is fit more apartments and sell more and make a little bit more money, right? For all the developers, kudos to them who delivered during the global financial crisis. They lost a ton of money, right? So now was the time that they wanted to start making money. So in their latter developments projects, their apartments were slightly smaller. Now, what does that mean and translate for an investor? Look, when you buy a smaller apartment at a lower ticket price, because let's say, you know, a studio is, let's say, 500,000 dirhams, for instance, for example's sake, yeah, and you get a 500 square foot studio, you're going to end up renting that studio at a decent value, because that's what the average size of a studio is, between 420 to 500. Now, let's say a developer sells you a 350 square feet apartment for 500,000 dirhams. Now, because your apartment's smaller, it's going to command a smaller rent, but you paid a larger price. End of the day, you're going to lose out. Now, it's okay if the developer sells you a 350 square feet apartment, but then brings the price down to 350,000 dirhams, then that's okay, because you know you bought a smaller apartment, but you paid less. So if you get less in rent, hey, you know what? That's okay. You paid less anyways. So you knew what you were getting into. Now, the thing is, when the market's really super hot and investors are making super quick decisions, sometimes the developers can get away by giving you smaller apartments at the same ticket price that all other developments are selling. So you might get a smaller apartment at the same price. And that was the kind of case in this Business Bay development of this developer as well. The apartments were smaller, the price was pretty much standard what you'd be paying for anything else you were buying. And I explained that to the investor that you're going to lose out because the developer is making smaller apartments, therefore expect lower, smaller rent coming through to you, right? Then there were some glaringly obvious mistakes that the developer had made in the sales and purchase agreement. Like, I'm not going to go into the details of the mistakes that they made. I'm not a lawyer, so I never give lawyerly advice to my clients. But you know, I've seen tons of sales and purchase agreements throughout my career, and it's like you quickly look at them and you just find a few red flags which are huge for you, and then you tell your investor, look, things aren't right with this developer. uh, like at the end of the day, I had like this strong gut feeling that he shouldn't invest in this, and that's what I told him. I told him, based on my intuition and my due diligence, he shouldn't invest with this project. Now here's the worst part: he'd already paid a down payment to this developer. Now you got to be wary, because developers have aggressive sales teams, agents, right? My colleagues, right? I work with them, but sometimes some of us can get super aggressive and will create a sense of scarcity, that the apartment will be lost. This is the one you like. If you don't put in a deposit, and he put in a deposit, a decent amount at that time, to lock in the unit. Now, obviously, it's very funny, but the agent made it a very glaring, financially irregular, almost illegal mistake. And I'm going to get into the mistake that this agent had particularly made. She accepted money into an account which wasn't the project's escrow account. Now, most investors don't know about this, but because she had made this mistake, I guided one call to the right person, and the money came back, which is great. Now, essentially even better, because this project 4 years later is still close to completion. It's not being completed. Now, when he was about to buy it in 2016, he was getting promised delivery in about, I think it was 10 months to 1 year maximum. This project's still a little bit further away from actual delivery. So buyer beware, know the ugly truth of investing before you pull the trigger. Get an expert, either yourself or somebody else who knows their subject matter, and then do the due diligence that's required for you to put in the investment so it can serve you much longer. Look, hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon. If you've got a particular question that you'd like me to answer, you can always WhatsApp me and I'll answer your question on YouTube. If you want to work one-on-one with me, you can again WhatsApp me and I can talk to you about the fees that I charge, or if one of my teams is going to be helping you out. The number's in the description. Talk to you soon. Catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.